From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I'm going to be the host and the subject for this podcast. My name is Bill. Who else is hosting?
I'm Vicky.
You are. We have somebody
And
coming.
Hopefully Jennifer will pop in. She's been a little
Delayed.
crazy these weeks.
A little delay.
Yeah.
We'll cover that as well if we have time today. So, Miss Vicky,
Yeah.
you get to be the interrogator.
I know. I heard you went to a race. You went to a race, Bill.
I did. You weren't there.
I know I was not.
You were
I
missed.
have family obligations.
Excellent. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So our team attended its first AER race. We went over there with the Skunk Oil Racing team.
Yeah.
Which is David, who we raced with at CMP, Alex and Ryan, who were also at CMP. And then we had Laura Vernon, who was at CMP but not racing with us. She was racing with this guy. His name's Randy something, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Randy.
He some people know him by,
Yeah. So the moose was out?
The moose was out at CMP, but Laura decided, she's going to come back and race with the little people. And we being little people, she decided we were suitable. Mm-hmm. And she came and we had a good time at the event.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So how did your event go?
The event itself went really well. We had some logistical issues getting everything there and getting, because we're trying to pull a back-to-back race weekend, and we'll have another episode coming shortly with everybody, but this one's this was real quick summary of what we were doing. So we got everything out there. I wasn't able to get out there due to work for Friday practice, so the team was practicing on Friday, and then I drove out there Friday and got there a little after 5 or so.
Yeah, but then I got a chance to just about see you again, right?
Well, yeah. So we left our hangar. I think I left you at like 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And it's like I always figure if you're towing, it's like a 5-hour ride. So no big deal. So 10 o'clock, I'll be there at 3. Life is good. No problem. Unfortunately, 3 monster accidents, snowstorm, squalls. There was something else. Oh, I was following somebody on a trailer who apparently still had his Kmart license. So we were doing less than 20 for about 15 miles, which was fantastic. And so I get out there, and the team had felt some issues with the back axles. And we needed to change them.
No axles, huh?
No, we have axles.
Where were the axles, Bill?
Back at the hangar. I had just left a little bit ago.
Yeah? Which
Yeah.
was how many hours did you put in? 6? 7?
Well, it took me 7.5 to get there, and I think I was there for like 20 minutes, and then I left again.
Yeah.
So I drove back to Scranton and picked up the axles, and then drove back from picking up the axles to PittRace, which for those, we live in the northeast corner of Pennsylvania, and PittRace is in kind of the south, but definitely the west corner of Pennsylvania. And while it is not Texas size, Pennsylvania is not small. If it was Rhode Island, that would have been 50 laps or so. But no. So
More importantly, is Bill lives, strives, and survives on nap and sleep. He needs his 8 hours. He did not get his 8 hours. Oh, no. I felt so bad for you.
You know, You did annoy me just the teeniest bit.
How's
So I
that?
called you in a panic saying, hey, how about you meet me halfway? And you're like, drive halfway to PittRace. You're crazy. Which means not that I get to drive halfway. I get to drive 2x way. But
You are correct there. But
you
see,
ditched me.
no,
You
no.
did. You did. Ditched me.
So here's the reasoning. I have a daughter who would be home alone until 1 o'clock in the morning, which
No.
was not going to happen. Yes, it would
Would've
be,
been
because if I left at
10:05.
6, 10:05. If I had left, I would have again left her alone, and I did not want to do that.
That's fine.
So therefore, I was not going to sacrifice one when you are capable of doing this on your own.
Yes. So anyway, I got back to PittRace at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, which was less than
Yeah.
ideal. So we did our race real quick on the race. Everybody drove on Friday practice. I think Alex had been to PittRace for sure. I don't think any of our other 3 drivers had been to PittRace. So it was their first time out. Obviously, their first time in that car because this was the second race for that car. So they ended up driving pretty well. We ended up qualifying in Group 2. They do our the different levels by the track speed that you have. And that car's pretty strong engine, a little bit of aero. So Group 2 is about where we fit. And the spread between the cars was probably about 2 seconds a lap. So it was tightly spaced. So that was fun.
So, well, I'll save the car repair issues for when the rest of the crew gets on.
We'll do that. later.
Yeah. So, how was the weather out there?
Cold, wet. Did I mention it was
Yeah.
cold and wet?
Yeah. Reminds me, I'm going to have to check the weather for next weekend.
Cold.
Hopefully not wet.
Don't know.
Yes.
Excellent podcasting. Well,
Yeah, no.
watching you surf your phone looking for the weather, but go on.
Well, I know. So, but did it end up,
Yeah,
did
it's
you
like
have
cold
everything
and
you need?
wet. Well, I talked to the guys at Summit. There was Summit Racing had a trailer there, and they looked at me funny, like nobody's ever asked me for gloves that are fireproof and water.
Rainproof.
Yeah, so
Why is somebody not inventing these?
I think I'm just gonna have to do it.
Yes,
so.
I think so.
Anyway, do it yourself, people. If you can. It's like the Ferris Bueller thing. If you have the means, I highly recommend it. So we're just going to have to do that. So anyway.
Okay.
So we raced all day Saturday. Car last, for those of you keeping score at home, car last time we went to the track for the entire weekend did 12 laps.
Yeah?
Yeah, last time. CMP.
All right. So
Yeah.
how did this one do?
Much more than 12 laps.
Oh, good.
Bill was tired. Bill was not in condition to race Saturday, so I sat out and everybody else drove, which, not a problem to get race car drivers to drive. So we ended up, I contributed in pit stops and spirit and an hour and a
And
half
lots of naps.
One nap. One. Just
Really?
one. Hour and a half. Yeah. Yeah, sleep was not high on the list this weekend. So anyway, and we ended up
Where'd you end up?
second.
Well, that's nice.
P2. So that was nice. The guys did great, very fast. Alex and Laura were competing for fastest time on our team. And David and Ryan did spectacular. And it added up that the team that won, pay attention, people, there's a moral here. The team that won was the slowest, fastest lap in our level.
Wow.
And the team that came in second, which was us, was the second slowest, fastest lap in our level.
Oh, okay.
There's some logic there, people. Anyway, so that was fun.
Don't kill your car.
Don't kill your car. Yes. Faster cars sometimes don't win. But anyway. So AER has a race on Saturday and a race on Sunday. And we'll get more into the racing after We're going to have a team podcast. So this is just a quick one where we have a subject to get to, but we wanted to cover the race real fast. So at AER, they have practice on, at least for this event, they have practice on Fridays. They have a race on Saturday for 8 hours, and then another 8-hour race on Sunday. So Sunday. I believe we finished 4th.
Right.
Which is where we should have been if we were, if you look at speed, it would work out that way. We did have some issues with the radios. We didn't have radios to install on Saturday, and then we installed them Saturday night, and the radio worked, sort of.
Was there enough radio stuff in the containers that we sent?
No. We were missing a piece, and then we bought the pieces from Summit, but we couldn't install it because the car was going round and round.
Right.
So Saturday night we installed it. The driver, let's see, who was it? Alex and I want to say Laura. It was either Alex and Laura or Alex and Ryan could hear but not be heard. And the other two, whichever two it was, David and Ryan, I believe, could do both, but it was quiet, and I could hear both. So don't know what was going on there, but we just didn't have enough time to get it figured out. So we got some radio work to do for the next weekend because they're going to be racing that car again at the Lemons.
Okay.
And telemetry, we had everything ready to go except for mounting of the phone, which is needed for the Apex Pro, and we didn't get that done in time. So we drove basically with the Apex Pro sitting on the dash doing its light thing, but we couldn't record any of the data, so that was kind of junky. But it is. Oh, I forgot.
What?
You know what happened on the way out?
What happened?
You do know what happened.
Oh, geez, yeah. So Bill calls me like Saturday in a complete panic.
Not complete.
Oh no, you were panicking. You were tired already.
Yes, I was.
So he's like, let's just add one more thing to it.
Yep.
And that was right now we're kind of dealing with a windfall of things right now. But
Jen would say it's Plan B.
Yeah. So we have the leaf springs on our trailer are broken. Or at least one is broken.
Both.
Womp womp. Both of them are broken?
Both of them on one axle.
Okay.
It looks really funny if you drive around with it. Yeah.
So Ryan noticed it, from what I understand, said, "Oh, that doesn't look good." And they were out there looking for stuff, new leaf springs, and they couldn't find any. So they called home. So I end up going all over looking for them.
With your superior internet and
on my internet, which is they did not have out there very well. So I ended up doing a final Hail Mary and going to the very last place, which I was not originally going to go to. And because they weren't answering the phones, but I knew they were open, went out there, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, sure, they're right here. I have them." He handed over all the dimensions that I needed, so I now have leaf springs in hand. And the good thing is, granted that we're still on this side of Pennsylvania, is that we're able to leave the car trailer and all of our stuff there on the west side of Pennsylvania, at Pitt or near Pitt. At Pitt, so we can go ahead and do the repair when we get there. And honestly, with many mechanics that are crawling all over the place, and we have a running car, so I'm not really concerned about finding time to repair this trailer.
So this podcast will come out Wednesday morning. I'm expecting Jeff Wakeman to be driving there by noon Wednesday because, something needs to be fixed. He's going to have his knee pads on, and he'll be driving out west. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's that. So Sunday, we finished 4th. Not too bad. Altogether.
Not too bad.
There were 7 people in our class. I think 6 of them ran. 4th isn't bad. We did pretty well.
Sometimes it's not just about going fast. There's some strategy to it. You know
what was really bumming me though?
What was that?
You were home, and you kept saying, "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?"
Yeah.
If only there was a system that you could have watched the in-car video live.
Yeah.
That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, I know we have one of these things, and
it wasn't in the car.
No, well, it was a
Not our
different car,
True.
not our car. And actually, for the Sentinel, we are saving it for a particular race car that we have.
Yes.
And I'll be very, very excited to see this thing. But I mean, regardless, I mean, what does it do?
Well, not only do you get the in-car video, you also are able to say who is driving. You have multiple cameras. You're able to see the line. You're able to see all the data. You're able to see your race statistics, the leaderboard, flags, everything. Anything that's available on the internet or on Flagtronic systems or any of the scoring and time and scoring systems, you should be able to do that. And James Candelario, who came on before, gave us one to try out, and we are anxious to get that thing finally installed. We're almost done, almost ready. His part was easy. The aim dash, not so much. We're working on that. If the aim dash was as easy as the Sentinel system, we would have been done months ago. But we're getting there. Hashtag anybody who knows somebody from AIM who wants to help us, we'll take it. We need it. So the AIM system is one of those. It's really, really powerful, but with that power comes great responsibility and sometimes complexity because it gets all this data. And I'm like, there's lots of wires. But, me and wires, we get crossed. Anyway, so come on, that was a good one. Anyway, Sentinel system, I've looked at it. We've watched it. We've watched videos with it. We are anxious to have a video that has somebody that is on our team driving in the video. That's the next goal for this.
That would be good.
We're going to get there. So if you are interested in it, take a peek at it. Don't forget to use our discount code. Tell them GHiT sent you. And this time, you know what? This time when you tell them GHiT sent you, you actually save money as opposed to just people going, who's that? You save 10% on your total order. So have fun with that.
Okay.
So Miss Vicky.
Yeah.
We talked very shortly. Usually we do, it's just the way we run. Post-race, Vicky and I are usually in two separate cars because one's towing and one's driving and, whatever. And usually...
Don't know how many times we've missed our exits because we've been so busy chatting.
Yes. Yes. So we usually download for like an hour or two driving home. And since you weren't driving, but you were interested. But I avoided it because there's a subject that we didn't get into.
No.
That's the whole reason why we're doing this episode. You know why?
Okay. Why?
I know this is... Are you sitting down, my dear?
I am sitting down.
Okay. What is the title for this section called?
Bill's issues. Bill has issues anyway.
Yes. Luckily, you were sitting down. That came as a surprise
I swear he's on
to
the
you.
spectrum. I swear he's on the spectrum.
Okay. Yes. Apparently, Vicky loves the title. Bill has issues.
I love that title. Bill does have issues.
Which has no surprised look on your face, my dear. But anyway.
Yes. Okay.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead. You're the commander in chief. I'm just here for the ride.
What is your first issue that you've?
You act like I have multiple issues. What's
oh
going
no,
on?
I know you have multiple issues. I'm just starting with number one.
Right here.
What have you? Okay. What have you learned? That's right. What have you learned?
Well, that's
about
not the
yourself.
Issue. That's not the issue. So here's what happened. Bill, for the first time ever, was not comfortable driving in a car.
Really?
Nope.
And why is that?
I'm not sure.
Really?
No.
You're going to have to do a little deep dive on that, sweetie.
So if only I had a doc that has all of it. Just keep going.
Okay.
So here's the problem. It's the first time, there's lots of things. It's the first time that I was driving in a car that wasn't ours. Maybe. I mean, we've driven in cars that aren't ours before.
Have.
But
not to this degree.
Correct. So, second thing that could be, not sure, this team was very different than our team. Our team is kind of do the best you can, take care of our game, and it is what it is. And then maybe with an hour left, we'll start adjusting. But, and if we've
we're in training.
Yeah.
We have a ways to go. We were
this team
building
was
up.
Going for the win. The funniest part about this, and they're not going to believe that they were doing this. So one of our drivers got a little sick in the helmet. We would call him Bruce if he was on a different team, but let's just call him Bruce. And that's not his name, but that's fine. No. So his stint, instead of being an hour and a half, hour 45, 2 hours, is like 30 or 40 minutes, and nobody's ready. A, we didn't have a radio, and B, nobody's ready. This was on Saturday when we came in second. So we end up losing like 15 or 20 minutes getting a driver change and getting everything together and running around like the Benny Hill themes playing in the background over and over on a loop. And then later that day, you have to have 3-minute pit stops. So we have like a 3-minute 20 pit stop.
Right.
And someone who shall remain nameless is losing their mind that we lost these 20 seconds and it's affecting the race. And I'm sitting there going, we lost 20 minutes on the pit stop before. 20 seconds.
Or maybe he was very busy trying to make up all the lost time.
I guess so. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was quite funny. So anyway, the team goal was to win. So that's a different mindset.
Right.
And you know me, I've played a lot of sports. I've competed. And when the team has a goal, I will do everything I can to accomplish that goal or die trying. And maybe that was part of it. Also, I'm getting in the car. We changed the driver's seat Sunday, so it wasn't the same seat as what we had at CMP. And as I'm getting in the car, my helmet, and we all know you have endless fun.
Bill has the biggest helmet of
right.
anybody I've ever seen. It's a freaking unicorn helmet to find.
Yep. Double XL, baby.
That's right.
They
You
call
big
me
brain.
Darth helmet. I gotta have a big helmet to fit all those brains in there.
His helmet is like Spaceballs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I had a white one, but I looked too much like a Q-tip walking around the paddock, so I got a black one, and now I look like Darth helmet. I gotta get some paint in there. What's a slimming color for my helmet? Anyway, so I'm getting in the car, and all of a sudden my helmet wedges between the halo seat and the cage, and I'm like half stuck.
Oh
So then for like the first 20 minutes or so, I'm slightly concerned that if something were to go wrong, I can't get out of the car quick enough.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Anyway, this was also our first AER race. It's a different level. It's a
different vibe. It's a different vibe.
It is, but the teams at the very top have good drivers and better cars. Mm-hmm. But most of the drivers, there was like 2 or 3 out there in my stint. I only did one stint for the weekend because I didn't drive on Saturday. There was like a few drivers out there that I was like, whoa, those guys can wheel. And then the rest of them were like, I can drive with these people. But I wasn't. But I could. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I've never seen that before. There was a couple drivers out there. I was like, damn, you go, boy. Or in some cases, girl. There were some good drivers.
Were you humbled?
And then I was concerned about letting the team down as well, right?
Yeah.
So was I humbled? No, I was not humbled. But what happened was I'm out there for let's call it an hour 45. I don't really remember. It was not something I really want to remember. But what I end up doing is I end up driving slow. And by slow, I don't mean slow. I mean really slow. I mean like I'm not pushing it. I'm not the car. If we were to go back in time to talk about when you used to talk about, oh, I felt like my car was on rails. My car was on rails because I wasn't pushing it. It was really...
And how do you think you translate that?
As a large sucking sound? I could translate it as a large sucking sound.
No, but why did you do that? Why do you feel you did that?
I don't... Like I said, there's lots of stuff. So these aren't issues with the car. They're differences from our E36 to this E36, or our E46 to this E36. Mm-hmm. There's no dead pedal. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but you know what? I'm a big fan of a dead pedal. It gives me a place to be stable and secure, and a place for my foot to be, and it's just empty space. So I would prefer to have a dead pedal. I don't think that's it. The brakes didn't feel right, and the rear end didn't feel right. Maybe it was the axle, don't know. Just never gave you that feeling of comfort. You know, when you don't have the comfort, you don't And if you're not
Well, you know
comfortable, you
what?
don't push.
If you really think about it, this is the first time you were actually in this car, so you never really got a good
No,
practice with it
no, I didn't.
or understanding of the car.
No, and it just felt different. Not bad, not good, just different. And then the other one that was really eventually really got in my head, the gear shift. You know how there's an H pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the gear goes up and down, up and down, up and down. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Right.
Okay. All the BMWs we've had, and we've raced 4, we've had a few more, are straight up and down along the axis of the car. This one was turned a little bit, like to the right or turned clockwise. So there was at an angle, and for the first time ever when I was on a track, I missed shifts, like twice. I just missed. Didn't
Wow.
go. And it was just, it was starting to get in my head because I had to steer the shift knob as opposed to just go up and down.
Right.
And
You had to
then
go
I started,
searching.
and then, yeah, exactly. And then I started thinking about it. And then one time I didn't blend my revs as well as I was, and instead of just doing it, because remember how I always have trouble trying to explain how you're having trouble with the shifting because I just say, you just do it. Well, I felt like, I guess, what you felt like when you're thinking too much and you're not just doing. And it was driving me crazy. Killing me.
Well, also just keep in mind too that you still have to tie in a weekend with that all-nighter run.
That probably didn't help. Yeah.
No, that's enough to break some concentration.
So here I am on a team that's trying to win. And I don't have a timer in my car, but I know that I'm not doing what I could be doing. But I don't know quantitatively how much I'm not. I just know that I'm not feeling fast because I know I'm not putting the car to a limit. I'm not
Right.
to the car's limit. I'm not to my limit. I'm not to the track's limit. I'm at like preschool limit. And it's just horrible. So I'm feeling like I'm letting the team down. So I call in on the radio. Now remember, my comm system works both directions, right?
Right.
Nobody there.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay,
Where did
well,
they go?
I don't know. Still don't know. We'll find out in a future podcast episode. So I was going to say, just get me out of here and we can go back to trying to win this race and you guys can have fun. And I'm just not, it's not
Right.
me today. So anyway, no choice. And it turns out that there's a double yellow. And for some reason, they
Right.
were doing cold pulls. They weren't running the track hot. So every time a car broke or every time a car got into an accident or anything, they would throw full course double yellow with a parade lap and a pace car. And sorry, guys, tired a little bit today. So it ends up that one car got into, it hit the tire wall. They had to do tire wall repair, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It ends up being like 30 minutes. It felt like forever. I
Right.
mean, not like exaggerated 30 minutes, but I think it was, if not high 20s, 30 minutes. So I finally start getting a little bit out of my head
Right.
and stop with whatever was doing it. And I start doing okay, but then I missed another shift because I just missed another shift and it's But anyway, the only thing I did decently well was my vision stayed good. I could see everything, and my traffic management was pretty good. I don't think anybody's going to have like, oh, who was that jerk in that car? It didn't give me a point buy. And it's weird giving point buys with a double net. That was new for me, but
Right.
because it's got a window net and it's also got a center net. So, but anyway, and then one of my missed shifts, I had my first ever half spin on the track in a race.
Wow.
God, did I suck.
I think honestly, I think this was you running into a ditch on your race weekend.
Maybe.
And I
Didn't get
don't
the prep. I didn't get
and
to
I
sleep.
yeah, and I don't mean that as
You probably have to tell everybody what running into the ditch means.
So Bill has been dealing with also like a windfall of a lot of stuff outside of racing. And leading up into racing, he was extremely busy. And then having probably that midnight run. I mean, I know you so well. Having that midnight run and not getting that head clarity and then getting into your state of driving, I think that I can see how your weekend was just probably very, very taxing on you. I don't think you were mentally prepared for your race. I think you're exhausted going in. I think you were further exhausted going in, and I think that just skewed you.
So, for those of you keeping score at home, I know you'll come as no surprise. I have data to support that I was tired going in. So if you look at a Fitbit, if you get the subscription to it, it actually will look at what your heart rate variability is and how much rest you've had.
Bill has data on himself.
I do. I have data. God forbid I not have data. The engineer in me would shoot myself if I didn't have data. Mm-hmm. So the scale is from 1 to 100. It might be 0 to 100, but I know it's from 1 to 100 for sure, at least. So usually I'm in the like 80 to 90 if I'm getting ready for a race and I'm trained, because I treat our races like a sports event. I try and train for them in spite of my round shape. I do treat them like it's a sport event. So usually I'm like between an 80 and a 90. And this one, when I left home for the race on Friday morning, I was at 23. Mm-hmm. Which is less than desirable. It's kind of not close to 80. And then when I woke up on Saturday morning, I was at 2.
Yeah.
Not so good.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so that was not it. And then, would you like me to quantify exactly how slow I was driving? How
Please
slow?
Do.
Okay. So, my best lap at this race, in a car that is appreciably quicker than our E36 race car, my best lap was a 2:08.
Oof.
Now, not my worst lap. My worst lap was probably in the teens. Mm-hmm. My normal lap in the E36 that we used to have, which should be slower because it doesn't have aero, and I think this engine's a little better, was a 2:02.
Oh, okay.
So I'm 6 seconds off. And if you think about it, the E46 that we have has a little bit more power but no aero and similar tires. I'm usually in the 159 to 2-minute flat. Like it's, right at that edge.
Yeah.
So I'm like 8 to at least 6 seconds off. And that's my best lap, not my normal lap. Oh, God,
right.
I sucked so bad. I should have been called Bill Hoover. Because I sucked so bad. Now, this is the first ever race weekend or track weekend where I didn't improve in some way or have a good driving stint, or it was just a calamity of errors and it drove me batty the entire way home. Entire way home.
So. Well, there's a lot that, I understand you, and knowing how you went into this race, the things that were going on at the race, and the extra that you put in, I think that just smoked you for the weekend.
So then
it's smoking you now.
The Benny Hill show.
In the door.
The Benny Hill show, and we'll leave that as the Benny Hill show, continued with the packing of the broken trailer, which we had to move and leave because it's broken and we can't drive it, and that was just Benny Hill. Anyway, so I get in the car and I start driving home, and I talk to you for like a half hour, 45 minutes, and then it's 5 hours because I was towing again. And I go through, let's see, imposter syndrome. I should go back to HPDE 2.
Yes.
I should quit racing. I should just do HPDE teaching because I obviously suck at this. I had thoughts on how we sell all the cars and get out and just help our friends do it, and it was a nightmare drive. It sucked a lot. So anyway.
I think that you personally need more practice with the car, because you never had practice with this car. Actually, this is the first time you were actually in the seat of the car.
No, I drove it for 6 laps.
Yeah, but still. Is that really enough to get to know a car?
Well, no, because I didn't even notice it didn't have a dead pedal, and I didn't notice the shifter was slanted a little bit. But anyway, so apparently not.
Yeah.
So anyway, I need to apologize to our audience.
Oh, yeah?
I do.
How so?
I'm not quitting.
No, don't quit.
No. So we have plans.
Oh, yeah?
I would like to talk to you about our plans. But first, let's go over AER.
Okay.
Okay. So, ask about number 10.
Okay. Sorry. So, just continue. Thoughts on AER and how the weekend went?
So, on track. The cars, like I said, are a little better. There's it's like the top of the Lemons field or the top of the Lucky Dog field without any of the lower, IOE type cars. And there was very few weak spots out there except for me.
Right.
Everybody else was good. I sucked. But anyway, after the double yellow flag, I did pass people, so that made me feel a little bit better. They have this piece of equipment. It's called a Flagtronics. And what it is like a little dashboard piece, let's say 3 inches by 4 inches. And what it does is it shows you the flags. Single yellow, double yellow, white flag, black flag with your number in it, I think, if you had a black flag. I luckily don't know that for sure because I didn't get a black flag. They probably don't black flag things that go that slow. Right. And it's electronic. So if you see the flags in there and it flashes, so it'll catch your eye and you'll know that there's a flag. I think it's fantastic. Wish it was on all the races. I loved it. Extra money, I get that, but whatever. Anyway.
Okay.
Other things on track. Was I tired? Was my triple drive? I don't know. Something was wrong.
Out of sorts.
I was in my head. I was in my head more than I was on the track. I sucked. It kills me. Maybe it was the pressure of winning, or maybe it was the pressure of this was our first AER race, or
driving somebody else's car.
I don't know. Yeah. Driving somebody else's car, you're automatically faster in your own car. Because if I break my car,
yep,
I have to fix my car. But if I break somebody else's car, I have to buy a broken car. And that's just not fun. I am not made for a ride and drive. So I'll try to get used to it. But whatever.
Yes.
So AER off the track. Okay? The pit stalls are set up like Lucky Dog. So each team has 2 pit stalls, and that's where they do their pitting. You can have the gas filled. Like you can take the lid off and start filling gas while you're putting a driver in. The driver can stay in the car, whatever.
That is a perk.
It is, but it isn't.
Why?
It's safety-wise, it's uncomfortable for me. I mean, you do it because you do it, but it seems like a risk. It's a little higher risk. Let's see, what else? They had awesome merch. We finally got to meet John Colessa. Hopefully, future podcast guest. We'll see.
Right.
I don't know if we've ever had both a window net and a center net. Have we ever had center nets? I don't think we have.
No, we've never had a center net.
Right. It was a little weird, a little different. Not in a bad way, but it was weird. Different. And then the no hot pulls. We talked about that. So everything was a full course double yellow. And if that's a AER thing, that's one thing, because there was only 20 or 30 cars at any one time racing this weekend. But next weekend, when we're there with Lemons and there's 100 plus cars, if every car that breaks down gets a double yellow for the entire time, that's going to get really old. I don't know if it's a pit race thing or not. But it was kind of weird. Remember that new building when you're pulling in on the left? At PittRace, they were building a new building. That new building is open. It is a store and a series of classrooms.
Ooh.
It looks spectacular from the outside. I haven't seen a classroom.
It's a bit of a haul.
I did see the interior of the merch area, though. As you well know, since I bought you.
I know. Bill brought home gifts.
That's right. Take care of the CFO, people. These are words to live by. And then they were having an autocross out in the parking lot both days, which looked like quite fun. And if I would have had anything but an F-250 or a Chevy 2500, I guess is more appropriate, I might have thought about it, but I figured they weren't going to be too happy with a 3/4 ton pickup truck going out there and having fun on an autocross course. But yeah. And then, like I said, they had the qualifying, which they broke the teams up into groups and broke it down that way. And it seemed to work pretty well. The cars were tightly spaced. You had people in your group, and then you had the other groups. And the group-on-group violence was obviously there. Some of the lower cars were going faster than some of the higher cars for certain drivers, but it seemed to work out pretty well. I didn't see too much going on with that. It seemed like a good way to do it. So
Right. So, what do you think? Biggest driving skill or track knowledge learning area from the weekend?
Well, the drive home was terrible, and
Yeah?
like I said, I was thinking about dropping. I was thinking about just doing HPDs. I was thinking imposter syndrome. I'm thinking I'm not AER material. I'm like all over the place, and just I don't like not doing well.
No, that's a problem for you.
Yeah, yeah. And the only reason I didn't do well was me, which makes it even
Yep.
worse. So
Yep, nobody was there to blame it on.
I don't ever look to blame people except you. So yeah, that sucked a lot. So I think I've got a plan, and we're going to have to discuss this off podcast, off air. I don't know
Okay.
if podcast is on air, but my code word for the plan is preparation and focus.
Yes, you need to do a little meditative state.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Why?
Preparation
Yeah?
and focus. So I'm thinking we love cross training.
Mm-hmm.
We love doing as many different types of races, as many different places, as many different cars, as many different. I'm thinking we have to concentrate more on preparation, not only the car, but of ourselves.
Yes.
And preparation and focus, which means perhaps instead of running 8 or 9 different series, perhaps we focus on one. Or two.
Oh, Bill's waking up.
These limitations that you humans
Yeah.
have.
That's right.
Anyway,
No,
so
I
we
understand.
may have a change in our schedule this year. but we'll
Yeah.
see.
I think
I
that
think
would be
we've
good.
we've bitten a few, especially with some of our other plans. So
Yeah. I can understand that for sure. I mean, I would like to focus on the cars, obviously, but I don't want to focus on so many cars. You know.
well, what news to follow coming up in a podcast near you?
Yes. So, what did you do that you thought that you could do better?
Well, the car did not fall apart on track, so I would say that the prep of the car was spectacular, except for the rear axles, which I thought were replaced when they did the rear end, and then except for the rear axles that we had to have, but then when I went to go get them, we didn't have a tool. And then when I went to get the tool, then these aren't the right rear axles, so I ended up doing the trip for nothing.
Oh, I would have been not happy.
I was too tired to get cranky, but it sucked a little bit. I will admit.
Oh,
So
well,
it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
you
like
learn.
anybody did it on
Yeah.
purpose.
no.
They didn't say, "Ha ha ha, let's go send Bill away from here, and we'll stay here and do whatever we're going to do, and he'll drive to Scranton again because that's just fun." So that wasn't what
Yeah.
happened.
That was
Although
brutal.
next time I go, guys, next time I go, and I drive 5 hours each way, could you fill up the gas cans? Maybe just fill up the gas cans. So when I get back, they're full.
So,
squeeze it in.
things you
anyway.
can improve.
I would personally like to see a dead pedal.
Well, we're
obviously,
putting a dead pedal in our car now since you even mentioned that. It's actually sitting on the floor.
I thought we did already because we have it.
Yeah, we have it, but it hadn't made it in. We're going to be doing some stuff at the track, just so you know.
That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Dead pedal. Radio probably needs a little love and maybe some testing prior to the race with all the different helmets because apparently the 2 different helmets behave differently than the other 2 helmets. So that was weird.
Yeah, our radio system's untested right now.
I know. I'm talking about their car.
I
But
know,
we should
but
do both.
But,
Right.
but just saying that
Same.
same.
Yep. I think if they're going to keep the Apex Pro in there, we've got to get the phone mounting and charging system set up in their car. We have that in our cars. Not a lot of flat surfaces in that car for the phone to be securely held, so that was kind of the fun. And
Yeah.
as a team, Laura is Arrive and Drive, who drove with us for the first time. Alex and Ryan are kind of a team that's functioned for many years together. Dave's relatively new. I function in a different team. The 5 of us, I would say, we're not quite smooth yet. Mm-hmm. I think there's some growth to be done there, so that would be something we could improve.
Well, I was thinking about you guys out there and some of the hiccups that you guys had. And I think it's going to be different when our team is out there because we already function. So having them piggyback off of our team would be helpful. At least that you have a solid person that can run the behind the scenes that is already running.
Ryan does a really good job in the paddock, I will say. He's fantastical and then mechanically, wow. Mm-hmm. But I think there's some other stuff that we could do to get stuff done.
It takes time.
It does. And, it takes time. Even if you're really, really experienced, I think it takes time for even 2 experienced teams blending together. It takes time for them to gel, too. So,
got 2 different systems kind of combining.
Yep.
What was your highlight?
Well, I mean, since this one's mostly about me, so let's talk more about me, shall we?
Oh my gosh, this is all about you. This is the Bill show.
It is, apparently. So, the team performed really great on Sunday. I mean, they even carried me. So that was great. And then the low light for the weekend for me was Blake. Remember Blake, Ben's friend who came on the podcast earlier?
Was he the guy with the crinkle dog?
Yes, with the wrinkle dog, yes.
Yeah.
Chomper. So their car got hit on the track, and that was the tire that had that groove.
Yeah, what was going on with that tire? It looked like it literally separated.
Yeah.
And shifted.
There wasn't a whole lot left. I think they were past some of the steel, or well into the steel, and it was just a fender rubbing on the tire for the amount of time it took to get in. The accident was in like turn 18.
Okay.
18,
towards
19.
The end.
But I don't know that they were able to get off. You know what I mean? So
they might have passed
They may have done another lap, but that was what it was when it came in. So that you never like to see car on car violence.
Yeah,
sucks for everybody. Nobody wants to do body work. Nobody wants to really work. They just want the cars to run. So that's just extra.
So what was your most memorable car and team?
There was just tons of cars there. There was so much there. Like I wish you would have been there, even if you weren't driving, just so you could go around and like see how somebody else does it. Mm-hmm. There's like all those constant little nuggets, and they've got all these things worked out, and just some of the stupid little things that add up to, there's just like, there were so many there. So it looked like, except for my driving, everything else went really smooth, and all the other people knew what they were doing. I sucked, but whatever.
Oh, you sound like you really need a hug.
Hoover. Just call me Hoover.
That's all right, honey. I'll give you some meatballs.
That's not code. She made meatballs for the race.
All right. So what was your good, bad, ugly? What was your good?
All of our drivers in our team, they did really well, except for me. That was good.
Bad?
I'm still not comfortable in the team manager role.
Do you have issues with confrontation just in general?
Team. I don't like it.
Well, you have no problem telling me what to do. You just have a problem telling everybody else what to do.
It's not my ball.
I'm not wrong.
But it's not my ball, right?
I know.
I don't like telling people what to do with their ball. If it's their ball.
Yeah.
So, and then Bill's driving, and Bill being in his head more than I.
Yeah.
I think I drove my head crazier than I did driving the car. It was amazing.
And what was ugly?
Usually we don't have an ugly. Ugly for me was the ride home.
Were you exhausted?
No, it was all the stuff we talked about earlier. The I should drop, and nothing like 5 hours by yourself in a lovely Route 80 of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, just straight run,
straight across. And, yeah, About the only
Yeah,
thing missing from the ride home was a ticket.
Yeah, I would have just made it, right?
Yeah,
I would just signed and sealed your weekend.
Yeah, that would have been the top.
Yeah, he was so tired that he came home and left the truck and the trailer on the street out front, which we don't like to do that too often.
Nope.
It's a busy street, and he's like, "Can you just?" And I did.
Well, it was snowing too on the way home.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Could you stop? It's April.
Yeah.
We're done. We're good.
So I went and took it all apart at the hangar again. So what did we learn? Which I think we just went over. We learned a lot.
I'm a head case.
Yeah.
I gotta get out there. And I got some plans. So,
Yeah. I think
anyway.
you need sleep.
That would help.
Going into the week, like I said, going into the weekend, you were just not in a good space.
And then my triple drive.
Yeah,
sucked
well, that too. Yeah,
little bit.
that yeah.
Anyway, the good thing was we got the axles we needed.
Right.
Anyway, they didn't fit. Anyway,
Yeah.
Moving
Well, then
on.
we got the broken trailer, which we're going to fix next weekend. So we
That's
solved
right.
that problem. That's going to be an easy problem. There's mechanics. There's so many mechanics next weekend, just in general. I don't think it's going to be a big job. We're going to bring an extra jack with us. So,
Yep.
we'll have everything what we need there to fix that. It should be a real quick deal. So, and yeah, right now we just got to prep for our race.
we do.
Yeah.
How are we doing? Are we ready?
We are not going to be fully ready until on Friday.
Okay.
Alan is unable to come over this week, but honestly, we do not have that much work to do. It is such a minute amount, and mostly it's just finishing up, securing, and some stuff. So we're good. We're good to go. Put the seat back in this weekend. We have to do some lettering and some numbers.
Yep.
If you
We're
want to
doing
do
a
that,
half-baked theme, right?
yes.
We're not doing the
Yeah,
full
we're just-
theme until
Nope,
November, New
we're doing a
Jersey when
half-baked
Jennifer can be
theme.
there.
Yeah, we thought about bringing out our full theme at Pittsburgh, but Jennifer can't be there, and I really want Jennifer to be there. So Chris and Chrissy are moving theirs. Three Pedal Mafia are moving theirs to New Jersey. Their reveal. So we're gonna move our reveal to Jersey also.
That's right. So sorry, Chris and Chrissy. We still can't tell you what the theme is even.
Nope, we can't do it.
They were
So,
very unhappy we couldn't tell them when they came over.
Yeah. So
Do we have everything yet?
we're looking good.
Do we have
really
everything
are.
for the theme yet? In our hands? In our grubby little hands?
Not
Did you pick it up?
no. I told him that he can hold on to it a little bit longer. He's a little bit behind. So the printer, I have a local printer working on it, and he had a broken machine, and it put him 5 weeks behind. So I kind of moved our stuff to secondary, not as rushed. So I gave him a little bit more time. He's a good guy. He's just a good guy. He's a good guy to work with. So
All right. So it was good. We met, well, this part of we met Blake in person. So that was new. That was fun. Gave him a little swag. His team was the one that had the car tire shaving. So I gave them some shirts.
yeah,
Not that they could wrap them around the tire and keep driving because that tire is dead. But it was fun. AER team, they ran a nice race. They had good orientation. Definitely different. Paddock is different. Vibe is different. But seemed like a bunch of nice people. Prompt Critical was out there.
nice.
They said hey.
Hey.
And I gave them guilt trip number 20 for not coming on the podcast since it's their fault. We
gosh.
started racing since it was their cars. But we'll get them. No problem. And I did want to thank everybody that was on our team, especially Ryan and Alex and Matt and Laura and David for putting up with me and my pitiful skills that led to nothing and horrible driving. And, usually I like being the anchor for the team and not an anchor to the team. But there I was.
You'll be fine.
Just call me Hoover. Anyway,
You will. Yep.
So we do have a podcast review that came in late.
All right.
So, from a former guest, Kyle Lockrow, I think it would be a great thing for all our guests to give us podcast reviews. Actually, I think it would be good if anybody gave us a podcast review because that would be wonderful. He writes in, Garage Heroes are a great group of people working on doing extraordinary things by introducing new people to the motorsports world. Have become great friends of mine, and please share the show with friends and family, enemies, family you hate, etc. Probably good to send it with there. He has a asterisk next to this, and he signed a waiver to be a guest and drive with their friends at Race Bar. So it was the best and worst decision he's ever made. And,
That's right.
And says you need
right.
to listen to the latest Kyle Lockrow episode for the inside joke on that. So, Kyle, thank you for the 5-star review and wonderful comments. We don't deserve any of it. We do love the joke, though. That was fantastic. And if any of you would wish to do that, leave it on your podcast app of choice. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to see it. And we will obviously read them. We don't read them very often because we don't get them very often. But anyway, nice to have one. What do you think of that one, my dear?
I like it.
It's quite fun. We do get a lot of emails, though. We don't get a lot of reviews, but we get a lot of emails. So
Yeah.
anyway, so this is probably part 1 of 2 or 3 to review this race weekend. First race weekend for Garage Heroes in Training at AER. Doesn't count until the entire team comes, but we'll get that all together. Should be fun.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Thank you, miss.
You're welcome, honey.
Bye. I'm gonna
Bye.
go. I'm gonna go slow driving around the neighborhood. That's all I can do.
You just need to go get some sleep, some good sleep.
Maybe. All right, it's me, Slowpoke. Bye. Signing off.
Bye.
Signing off slowly.
Yes.
To the Batmobile. Let's go. Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed. Here, ready to move up.
Dominating with Dawson.
We're here with a first ever emergency Dominating with Dawson calling in late. We have Ben Dawson. Ben Dawson.
Hey, I'm here. I heard there was some stuff we needed to talk about, and Bill tried to give me it out. And I was like, no, I want to hear about this and talk about it where everybody can maybe hear it and benefit from it. Maybe I can help Bill out a little bit too, because I hate hearing you hurting like that.
It was the first ever I didn't perform well, or I had a tough weekend, or I actually got way worse. But anyway, so short story, we've already gone through this. Went to AER, had some issues, got tired driving back and forth to Scranton a couple times, so that was like not good. So first AER race, car not terribly familiar with. Just got out there, getting into the car, my helmet got caught between the halo seat and the cage, so maybe I thought, I was thinking about, can I get out of this car in case of emergency quick enough, and just, I wasn't focused. I didn't bring my A game. I couldn't find an A game. A game was so far away. I think my fast lap was 2:08, and in a similar E36 car with no aero, not quite as powerful, I was doing 2:02s, and in my E46 with similar kind of performance without the aero, I was doing like 159 to 2 flat, and I'm at 2:08 best, and I was routinely in the teens. So let's go with not exemplary driving, and just could not get it.
But important. I think it's important to point out that it's not like you never found it. You definitely have been that fast before, and it's been repeatable and pretty standard. So you knew you were pretty far out there.
Driving somebody else's car, not sure what it was. I'm overtired.
Were you timing in the car?
No. No,
you
can
did you have a sense that things were going? Right. Okay.
So drove horrible. Then had a 20-minute because they weren't doing hot pulls, so we had like a
Right.
20-30 minute cold pull. Got my head together, decent driving after that, still the slow. That's when I did the 208. What do you do when you don't got it, Ben?
That's tough. I mean, typically racing in the South.
Has it ever happened?
Yeah, well, I don't know about just from a speed standpoint, but I've definitely had it from like just a fatigue standpoint. And I mean, after being in the car for less than an hour, and this is something that I can certainly relate to you, maybe better than you would have thought on this one, Bill, because you know, I didn't race for like a year and a half after COVID started. Then I went to the AER race at VIR. We were trying to run 2 cars, which is always tough. But we also weren't running cool suits. And prior to the COVID times, I never have had COVID yet, but for some reason between the last race I did before COVID and the race at VIR in 2021, I just lost my ability to be hot in the car. I used to be able to be hot in the car, sweating, didn't care. You know, I drink a bunch of Pedialyte before I got in, but I've never been a gotta have a cool shirt type of person. But we were there on Friday. I couldn't stay in the car very long without just getting hot. Having to get out, and then on Saturday I tried to run my stint in Reed's E36, and I didn't even make it. Maybe I made an hour or something like that. We were supposed to try to go a little bit longer than that, so I was having to come in short. And for me, my version of that, I'm sure my lap times aren't great. I was like, for instance, I'm usually the fastest person in the car when I go race with the team. And I wasn't the fastest person in Reed's car. I think Hans was the second or two faster than me. So that's always a sign of me. I'm not doing that great if I'm not the fastest person on the team. I don't say that to be an ego thing. It just has always been a fact. Yeah, so that's one way to gauge how I'm doing. Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not up there kind of at the top of the time sheets for the team. I'm kind of like, well, I'm a little bit off. But for me, it was the heat. We were able to slap cool suit systems in both cars overnight, and the next day I could stay in the car. Could have stayed in the car 5 hours. You know, so to me, I had a problem. We were able to solve it, and then I was able to move on. But when I wasn't at my best, like in that instance, it was due to heat, and I just realized like I'm somebody who breathes with my mouth closed by default. I realized I was in the car breathing with my mouth, almost panting in the car. And I realized this as I'm slinging the car through Oak Tree. I'm like, I'm not doing a good job of this. I'm breathing with my mouth open. I'm just certainly not going to be all mentally there. I just need to come in. So that's how it manifested with me. It's just I was a little bit slower, not quite to the magnitude you're talking about, but yeah, I had to be self-aware and go, I'm panting in the car. I need to come in. I'm too hot, because eventually I'm gonna hurt. You know, I'm gonna lose focus bad enough thinking about how hot I am that I'm gonna make a mistake and potentially hurt. Yeah, you can hurt somebody else on track, or hurt yourself, or you hurt the car. It's just there's no good outcome. You know, I can't even think of a really consequential race where there would be a good outcome for potentially risking your safety that way. I could just tell I was going to be safe if I stayed out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think the only thing I was good at, the only skill that, if I have a skill, the only skills that I retained was I kept my vision good, and I was able to manage my traffic, so I wasn't that guy or that car out there.
Those are the key things. As long as you still feel safe enough to handle all that, that's good.
Yeah, everything else was crap, but that was okay. At least if the other teams think that, then it was okay. I think I did okay. But there was only one time where, you know how we were talking a while back about controlling the passing and not getting passed in a bad spot. Well, there was only one time where it was just there was nothing I could do about it. I am going to get passed in a bad spot, and it screwed me. But that's okay.
Yeah, it happens.
It does. So what? Let's say you're instructing somebody. It could be on track or after they're done, and it's just not their day, you know.
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah, for me, sorry, go ahead. If there's a question.
I was just saying, what do you do for yourself? What do you do for your student? How do you get that imposter self-talk chatter out?
Right.
And
yeah, it's easier to me if I get to be in the car with somebody. I can just be talking to them and watching how they're interacting with the car and listening to their breathing. You know, there are plenty of cues you can get being bodily present with somebody, or sitting across from them. So, I can easily tell if somebody's getting flustered or just getting tired. I've never really suggested anybody go off the track if I thought they were too tired, but I've often seen students themselves go, I'm going to go ahead and pull in. I think I'm good this session. And I always encourage that. But
sure.
but yeah, if they're off their game, and well, I feel lucky for that driver. If they have if they fall off their game while I'm in the car, I think I can usually help them bring it back around. And for me, whether falling off your game means you just your first day at the track, or you're a fairly advanced student who's just having a crappy day. What I do is the same thing. Is I'm just in there driving the car with my mouth. I just start driving the car, get them back on their rhythm, get them back feeling confident with what they're doing. Make sure they know we were placing the car really well yesterday, but today we seem to be out of sorts. So let's work on putting the car exactly where we want to be. That was pretty good. We were like 3 feet off that apex. Next time, let's turn in a little. I just start driving the car with my mouth and trying to rein them back in. Especially it's easy if you've seen this driver do
Right.
X, Y, and Z before, in a repeatable fashion. You can get them back there. You kind of have to talk them back through it. Maybe it involves building their confidence back up. And just that maybe a lot of times for me, it seems like I'm just helping them find their rhythm again and sort of get back on song with what they're driving with the course.
I think you weren't on when we did the earlier part, but I think I'm trying to look back at my driving, trying to figure out what I was doing and what I wasn't doing. And one thing I know I wasn't doing, I'm not saying that everything else was good. I'm saying one thing I know I wasn't doing was I wasn't pushing the car. Remember when Vicky used to talk about the car being on rails and it would just go
Anywhere I want to put it. It just goes everywhere I want it to be.
Anywhere
right?
you want, not a problem, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just trying to figure out what I could have done, or should I have done something, because I'm still not comfortable with why it happened or why I drove as badly as I did, but what I could have done to not suck quite so bad.
Right. Well, I mean, I think before I could really be any material help as far as your specifics, I kind of need to know where you think you were falling off. Like, what do you think? What do you think was falling short in your driving? Can you point to one or two big things?
There was a little bit of setup with the car itself. The shift pattern, instead of being true vertical north-south with the longitude of the car, it was twisted a little bit clockwise.
Yeah.
So instead of being the normal E36 BMW up down up down up down up down, you kind of had to steer it a little bit. And for the first time in my life, I missed 2 shifts and almost money shifted twice. So that's not.
Damn, going what, 3-2?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or
4-3.
Yeah.
Oh,
none of it good. I mean.
So I'm curious. So that would definitely.
It was twisted, or I don't know if it was just.
I was going to ask, is it a swap car or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. But
I guess you could have worn out bushings or mounts or something. It could get a little twisted.
It was a little loose, but it felt like it was rotated, like to an angle.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
It was.
Is this the car? Is this the one you guys raced at CMP?
It is.
I mean, they were sort of trying to race at CMP.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, the good news is this is not a car you own, right?
No, it is not. Well, I also didn't want to own it by continuing to drive like dog do.
Right.
It was just, and then I guess the thing that was really bad was I drove so badly. We got a team that's doing pretty well. We just won second place the Saturday. This is Sunday race. I'm out there. I know I'm dog slow, and I think that's insulting to a dog to compare it to me. And the team's trying to win and do the best they can, and we don't usually race that way, like on our team. It's kind of like do the best you can, and it adds up.
That's not. Every now and then I race on a squad that's like trying to win. It's definitely different.
It's just different, and it's not bad or worse, or it's just different. And then when you play sports, you want to help everybody, and the team says we must go try and win, and I'm going to go try and win, and I know I'm not doing it, and it was just the ride home sucked a lot, big time.
Yeah, with all the guys staring.
No, because it was just me all by myself.
Great, even better. Alone with your thoughts,
yes,
and feelings.
Nothing like 5 hours of boring Route 80 going straight east, no turns.
And just trying to see through all your tears.
Yes.
I know.
You're rattling around in there is like, I suck. I should go back to HBD 2. I should sell everything because there's nothing. It's just like
Oh, buddy,
it was.
you're not saying anything I haven't told myself 1,000 times. Usually it's just because I'm just bored. I'm like, I'm just gonna kill this. Why am I doing this? Like, there's no point to this at all.
Why
But
am I doing this?
I've certainly felt my own share of malaise, like mid-stint malaise. I mean, you're talking to a guy who's been at this crap for a while, so I've been miserable in the car before. It could have nothing to do with anything except for being too hot down here.
Right.
I've certainly raced in the car. I'm like, I feel like I'm so hot. I'm going to die. Of course, obviously that feeds back into me being an idiot, not really figuring out cool suits until about a year ago. Like to me, a cool suit system was just a way to slosh fluids out of your car and then have them think you're leaking gas and make you come off the track when you're doing a good job. I'm like, I'm not going to create something that looks like a fake gas leak. I can take it up until I was about maybe 43, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely understand being miserable in the car and sometimes when you get that way, you watch the lap times drop, and you're driving a car that's not your car. You're in a field of cars that's a little bit different than what you're used to racing with. There's a lot faster cars, so I think you didn't say this, but some of the subtext with racing with a group like AER, where you got a few cars that have a lot higher closing rate of speeds, you might have instinctively been driving your rearview mirror a little more and being a little more deferential, and that may sap a few seconds off your pace. And if you're driving a transmission you don't have any confidence in, you take longer to shift. Those kind of things add up. So I'm just kind of coming up with a few different things I can think of off the top of the head that might have been affecting how you were doing, but it all adds up to a pretty crappy day, and you walk away feeling pretty bad for all those seconds and minutes you ended up giving up on track.
Yeah, I just it made me realize what Vicky's talking about when she's saying, when she gets to the end of a turn, she's got a lot of stuff to do with the gears, and because I'm kind of like you, I'm like you just shift and let it out when you need to, and life is good. And,
right.
And I found out that I was sitting there thinking about it. I mean, I actually had one where I didn't match the revs well enough, and I actually half spun out, and it was just like, what the hell is going on here?
Wow,
not good. I could have just been overtired. I don't know.
Could be. You drove early in the day, didn't you? Or late morning, something like that?
Middle. It was third stint, so it was 3 hours.
So
sometime like lunchish.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a rough one. I drove Mike Meyer's tiny vet car. I'm talking about the little Opel GT out in California. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to drive that car one time at Sears Point, and it had the H pattern in that car was a little off. Maybe at first was a little off, whatever it was. It was like I would come out of the tight hairpin and I just could not get a gear. I was like, like one time I actually stopped right by the wall. I felt it coming, so I pinched it really tight to the wall so everybody else can keep arcing around on the exit. I was like, I can't find the gear, and as I'm struggling, I pulled it over. But I actually almost came to a full stop. And I'm talking to Mike on the radio, I cannot get a gear in this car. And it took me a while to get some confidence with that weird ass H pattern that Opel 69 or whatever 69 Opel GT had. It was such a weird transmission, and it certainly cost me a lot of time until I figured it out. I mean, I definitely missed a few shifts or had a few aborted shifts where I was like, I cannot get this thing going. I can relate to that too.
I just you just I'd never had a day where I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
And most of the time when I go to the track, there's always like I got a little better, or I improved at least in this. The only thing I improved in was nothing. I got nothing. I was
that sucks.
Junk the entire time, and I'm just it was the first time that nothing was clicking. I don't know. It was like I don't know if it was me in the car. It wasn't the car. Car was fine. It's just I don't know. Wasn't there. So I'm just trying to figure it out. And then I eventually we left around 6 something. So I drove home till like 11:30 something. That sucked a lot.
Yeah. Damn. That's no fun, man.
No.
So we probably. I'm not trying to rush us to a conclusion, but do you have a plan yet for how you want to try to address it? Move forward.
I'm kind of thinking. We're really strong supporters of the cross training, and we try and get to as many races as we can with as many different series as we can and as many different cars as we can, and maybe we're just spread too much, and maybe we should focus and concentrate more on the preparation, both of the car and the driver. Because, I went into this leaving Friday morning. I was already worn out from the week because I had, a week of Mondays like you did last week.
Yeah.
And so then I drive out there, and as soon as I get there, it's like, oh, you need to drive back. And I'm like, great. And then I get to drive back again. So, I came into Saturday morning. I just said, I'm not going out just because, not because I didn't want to, but just because I was like, I'm probably too tired to go out there and do this right. And then maybe I was still too tired on Sunday, but it's not the track, because that's my favorite track. I've got like 1,000 laps there plus.
Yeah.
It's personally not the team, but me in the car. And it was puzzling to me. I don't know. It was weird, and I just didn't know what to do. And then you start thinking like it's my first real AER race, so the level of competition's higher. Maybe I'm just not good, and then it just starts winding up yourself, and you just.
Well, that's definitely not the case. There's no there are more expensive cars in AER than there are in Lemons. There are certainly faster cars in AER than there are in Lemons or Lucky Dog. But it's just same thing with club racing and sprint racing. There's no talent requirement. Like you have to have done to become an instructor with NASA, you have to have done a certain number of days of the track. Doesn't mean you have to be good at it. You have to be there. You know what I mean?
But I wasn't even like HPDE speed. I was horrible.
Well, right. But what I'm saying is, if you start thinking about this thing and framing it like maybe I wasn't good enough to be out there in an AER race. There's no talent requirement
to this point, right?
Yeah, there's no talent requirement. There's no talent requirement for AER either. It's really more of a money requirement when you want to go as fast as some of the faster guys in AER go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they don't invalidate yourself or your own experience or your skills by thinking that sort of way. And I know it's easy to fall into that, but you also have to find easy ways to pull yourself back out of it. And for me, sometimes that's reminding myself of where I've been, what I've already done, and just kind of try to move on. If I were you, I would prescribe a 2-to-1 HPD to race ratio for myself for a little while. Something like that. I think HPDs will more and more of those cannot hurt anybody.
Well, you know how sometimes you fall off the horse, you got to get right back on.
Where's the next race?
This week at PittRace with Lemons. so no bad thoughts will be going on that trip down there.
Oh man! Wait a second. Were you in charge of hauling the car there both times, or were you just driving yourself there and back this weekend?
On the way out, I was hauling, and then you don't know this yet. You haven't listened to the episode. The trailer leaf springs broke on the way out, so it can't be driven back. So that was good. Like I said, I had a bunch of Mondays. All in one week,
that's rough. So your trailer's still over there?
Yeah.
With a car in it?
Yeah, with the car. Yeah.
So you were ostensibly going to be the person who was doing all this stuff, hauling back and forth twice to Scranton?
Yeah.
And then also you were the guy who was bringing the car to the race.
No, the car got brought to the race, but I brought all the tools and everything.
Oh.
So we separated a little bit, but still I'm ended up trailering, so no big deal though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's added stress. What about this weekend? Are you having to bring all the stuff for this weekend?
Well, all of it's out there right now, so I just have to bring the car now. So we're taking an open trailer with the car, and then we got to rebuild the trailer so we can drive back.
What are you racing this weekend?
We're going with the Honda this weekend.
Yes. That's awesome. That Honda's going to be out there turning 55s. That's what I'm going to say right now.
Well, I don't know who's driving it, but we're willing. So if it's me, it's probably going to be a 255, but that's just me. But
No, we're gonna get Andy Hollis to come race the Honda with y'all one day.
All right, that'd be fun. I'm just trying to get him on the damn podcast. I've called the guy. I even got people who know people, and I still can't get him. I'm going to track him down. He doesn't know I don't give up. Speaking of not giving up this thing, you guys. Garage Heroes in training. We're still in. We're playing.
What day? Bill? I forgot. Before we stop talking about this, what day is a good day to race?
Today is the best day to race.
Right. But I mean, pretty much from my understanding is if the day ends in Y, it's a day to race.
It is
the ideal.
Or if it has a vowel. Either one.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So take that as a recommendation, listeners. And,
Yes.
get out there and race. You're gonna have some bad times.
Yep.
Absolutely are gonna have some bad times, but the good times massively outweigh the bad times. Like Bill just, I've never heard Bill talk about having as rough a time as he did, but it sounds like he's ready to jump back on that horse like a crazy person.
I've got 200 plus track days, and this is my first sucky one. I still get an A for
awesome.
this course so far.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. I didn't know you had those stats. That's good. Yeah, I've had way more.
I can give you the exact number if you were bored enough and wanted to know.
I've had way fewer bad days than that. Maybe not. No, I've had a couple bad ones too, but I keep doing it, and it's worth doing.
It
so
is.
Show up and do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when you get the negative talk, just work through it. It'll go away.
Yeah, and if you've done something great in racing already, or pretty good, or feel that you feel good about, I like to kind of harken back to those things and think like, okay, let me put this in perspective for myself, and remember that I've also done X, Y, and Z, and this is worth doing, and I belong.
That's right. And don't listen to yourself when you're really tired driving back from the track after a junk day. That person's an idiot.
Right. Yeah, that guy's
listen
a
to
jerk.
us.
Don't listen.
We're idiots, but we're entertaining.
We try.
That's right. Garage Heroes in Training, the Idiot Squad, Special Edition.
That's right. That's us.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.